feel more, you
When you
know,
say feel more.
empathy. I want to be more empathetic because I'm cold. I can be callous. Wow, I remember that moment. You know, I don't know. I think when I walked on that stage that day at the Kansas City People's Choice Award, that it was my first time being recognized in my life for something good. All my life, I feel like, especially my young life and being 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 misled as a youngster, and the accomplishments I tried to achieve at that point in life, they were all negative and related to the street, or related to some type of false ego or some type of false character we create in our minds growing up in these neighborhoods, fatherless in these neighborhoods, and gang banging. And up until that moment of me walking across that stage, I think that was just my first time being acknowledged for something good, man. And it brought tears to me. I couldn't talk. I get choked up when I talk about my journey with Barber and where I came from. I just get choked up, start crying like a bitch every time, for real, man.
Mm.
When I speak about it publicly.
You saying crying like a bitch, that don't.
Well, I don't mean that literally. That was figuratively. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when we talk about all of the stuff that led up into that, take us back to how we got there in the first place. Not the stage,
Yeah,
but the life before the stage.
yeah. Man, I come from a family, where my mother and father was present, and then I have two siblings, and my family was dysfunctional in that household. We got love from our mother and love from our father, but they had a hard time loving each other. So we experienced that in the household, and I don't know if you guys ever experienced being in a household with domestic issues in it. But as a kid, it scared me and shook me up really bad. And my mom finally got a divorce from my father. Had to be about 10 or 11, and they separated. And I remember at that point in time, I kind of discovered barbering. And I think I had to be 12 years old, and I like cutting hair and stuff like that. And I think, now that I look back on it, it was a getaway for me, and shortly after that, my father, he got sick with cancer. I came home from school one day, I was 12, and they said, wasn't nobody at my house. I couldn't get in. My neighbor told me that my family was at the hospital and that my daddy was in there. My dad was epileptic, so he had seizures, so I figured he had a seizure.
Yeah.
Pops ain't had no seizure. Pops was in the hospital. I don't think they wanted to tell us as kids, why he was in there and all that. I just remember when he got out the hospital, he was in my grandma's bed. And to see my father in his mother's bed was crushing to me, as a young kid. And my father was a real well-groomed man's man type of handsome, hard-working man and a great father. And I seen him lose his weight, and I seen him I seen him disappear. I didn't know he was about to leave, but before he left, he told me, he was like, cut my hair. They called me down there. I was a little bitty kid. And he called me down there and he needed a haircut because his barber, he couldn't leave. He was dying. he couldn't leave to go get a haircut. And I think he just wanted me to experience that. So I did it. And he died shortly after that. So my life kind of went crazy after he died. My daddy was gone. I was mad. And I ultimately landed myself in prison. Ultimately, by the time I was 18. And it was the lowest moment of my life. So I was on some Shawshank Redemption shit in there. Except I wasn't trying to break out. I was just trying to break the chains of that mental slavery, being binded to this hood and being binded to Crip. I was trying to change that because all that stuff took my friends and it just made all of our lives chaotic, right? So I just wanted to break those chains and redeem myself through rehabilitation at that moment, from the moment I went in there. And I kind of focused on that. And I would pray to God. I would pray and I would meditate. I learned how to meditate through reading. And I hadn't read much of nothing up until this point. So I started learning the art of repetition and how the art of repetition strengthens you. So I will be real repetitive with my daily grind. You know, I didn't break my routine. And I just did it every day over and over again, which was read, study, pray, you know, all positive things in a negative environment. And I grew and I prayed and I said, God, just show me what you want me to do. I knew I never wanted to come back to prison. So I'm like, just show me show me what I can do to keep me out of here and make a living for myself. And man, he showed me Barber, and again, I had it before, but I didn't have the support I needed. So I abandoned it. I learned how to shoot dice and sell dope and do things like that to obtain, you know, money. So when I prayed for it in prison, he began to reveal it to me, and I caught it this time. So when I was in prison, I changed my name that's where G Class came from. I had a different name. I had a different name from my neighborhood. And I didn't want to be taking that into the future. So I changed it. But I was like, all right, I need another nickname because this ain't go. I don't want to take this into my adulthood. And I was like, G Class. That sounds dope. I felt like I had enough class to own that. You know, I felt like I had enough structure to own it. I felt like I had enough ism to own that. And I remember going to my next door neighbor. He was in a cell next to me, and he can draw really good. And I told him, I said, you know, draw me a pair of clippers, man, and put G Class inside of the clippers. And he hooked that up. He hooked it up, and I remember getting it back and being so excited to see that pair of clippers that said G Class on it. And man, I just took it and ran with it, and I began to cut hair more in prison. I would ask my friends to not call me, you know, my old street name anymore. And but I didn't ask them to call me G Class neither. I just said I'm G Class. And I continued to just work hard in there and hone my skill and pray and all that. And you know, that's what brought me to that moment on stage, because I went through changes in that place. And to be out of there and on the stage with my city in front of me supporting me, I got emotional up there, you know, because I came from a dark place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, you said your dad laid in your grandma's bed and that really bothered you. Why did that bother you about him laying in your grandmother's bed?
Because he was my superhero, and he had his own bed.
Uh-huh.
So to see him in his mother's bed just didn't sit well. I knew something was wrong, majorly, you
Yeah.
know. Mm-hmm.
So losing your father, losing your father ultimately, you said turned you into the streets, right?
Yeah.
What do you feel like you lost when you lost him, as far as becoming a man that he didn't already?
The main thing I lost was, I feared him. I had a level of fear, not no fear, oh, I'm scared in the corner, I'm afraid. Nah, it wasn't that type of fear. It was the type of fear that hung over my head that kept me in line.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I better not do this because this is what I'm gonna have to answer to my daddy. He don't play. My mother, very beautiful, strong woman, she didn't play, but when it come to raising boys, it's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
So that's what I lost, that fear, because when he was gone, I didn't fear nothing. I didn't have nobody to say, hey, don't do that. This was gonna happen. I lost when he left, I lost I lost my big homie. I lost I lost the person I can trust their word. You feel me? Trust their intentions. One of the main things I feel like I lost was that hearing him say he proud, he proud, he proud. That's why I tell Lil G all the time I'm proud of him. He wake up and I tell him I'm proud of him. So, cause I know they go a long way. So yeah, and I didn't hear that, and I didn't have I didn't have people telling me that they were proud of me. I didn't have it. Not to say that they wasn't proud, but I just didn't have that. So shit, it just spiraled out the wrong way. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
And you said you went to you didn't finish middle school, you just
Nah, I
or
finished
you
middle
finished middle.
school. So my dad died in my 8th grade year. I went to
Okay.
Northeast Middle School, and I changed. I know my friends I went to school saying, cause all of a sudden I was cripping hard. And they like, Greg was smart. Greg, I go to school, have little girlfriends at the school, do my schoolwork, talk stuff with the guys, and that was it. Play sports. And that was that. And it got dark after my pops left, so that's that 8th grade year is when that happened. By the ninth grade, going to high school, I got kicked out of high school as soon as I got there. So I didn't even get to get a high school education, educated myself in prison.
Yeah. Were those entities already around you before your father passed? You just adapted to him after he passed? Like,
Yeah, I was
the,
raised in the hood like that.
yeah.
Yep. Everything was already there. I just had a dad that protected me and taught me right from wrong in that environment. Yep.
So what made you not be like, or so my dad wouldn't want this, knowing Pops wouldn't want this, and just
Mm-hmm.
go towards it, like cripping especially? Like,
Man, the love I felt, when we loke up in the hood, I felt love. I was in love with Crippin'. I needed something to love on. And I think that's what that's what ended up happening with that. Some people may feel that been in them environments. Some people from LA may know exactly what I'm talking
mhm.
about. Like I was in love with it, you know.
And then it was more people of OG status than it
Yeah,
dropped
yeah. You had OGs all day.
versus now it's a tad bit different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, more than a tad bit different, a lot different. So I can understand how you can go into something and feel like there was actual love there or
Yeah, I felt
whatever.
some love in the hood for
You
sure.
you did you feel things change within them like as you got older? Because you said, I think earlier I heard you said like these fictitious people you around and stuff like that. Like,
Fictitious characters that we make up.
yeah,
We turn ourselves into some
got it.
type of cartoon characters when you don't know no better, when you don't know yourself. You create a character, but that don't really be you. You feel me? And if I'm, any character that come from me, it gotta be organic, gotta be me. I know we got different elements of our personality, so I want to adopt the positive elements of my personality and groom and nourish that.
Who is the real you hanging behind the gangbanger or?
Back then it was just the real me was a broken and hurt adolescent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the real me. I was grieving, broken and hurt. And my friends were grieving, broken and hurt for whatever reason. So we clicked, we
Trauma
locked
bonds.
in, yeah.
Yeah. And y'all going through all that stuff together brought y'all closer
Yeah,
together.
yeah. We
So
were all lost. We were all hurting,
when you get to being locked up, because a lot of people say if you in there, you in there. But when you was locked up, you said you didn't want to go with that stuff no more. Was it an easy detachment?
Nah, it's never really easy when you surrounded and I was in the state penitentiary too. It's grimy in there, so it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. You had all kind of different elements around you.
Being the kid that you was, and then going on that bus ride to the penitentiary. You remember what that was like?
I ain't never thought about it. This is my first time thinking about that. I rode a lot of buses though, cause they shackle you up and take you from penitentiary to penitentiary. But the main thing I remember about that is feeling like I didn't own myself. That was the coldest thing. Anytime they shackle you up, they shackle you right here. They shackle you at your waist and your legs, and they put you on a bus with a bunch of other people like that. And I just felt like we were all like money and property of the state. I didn't own myself. Like wasn't nothing. I didn't have no say so over my life at that point. So I remember feeling that feeling kind of feeling like an animal a little bit to be, caged up. I remember I didn't smile for years, man, growing up in prison. I ain't smiled. It took me a long time to start smiling. On pictures and stuff I'm sending home. Used to like E40 had this song, I keep a mirror in my pocket and I practice looking hard. And we grew up on that, man, and it was the thing, man, to look hard at all times. But if you see me now, man, I'ma smile. I'ma smile at strangers, cause smiling is a form of prayer. You know what I'm saying? I'ma smile. I'ma smile in my moment of uncertainty, in my moments of fear. I'ma smile. You know what I'm saying? I read in Russell Simmons' book when I was in the joint. Cause when it came to them books and I was seeing them, I had a friend I would call her and say, "Well, would you send me this book? Go look this up." And we was just talking about this shit, and she was saying it, good friend. And I was studying them people because I wanted to meet Russell Simmons. So my mind being so pure in prison, and I felt like I can go in my cell. They shut that door. I'm about to holler at Russell Simmons. I'm about to go into a different world in this book.
Yeah.
So I read that he was talking about the Asian culture. And he said you could see some different, see those people. He was talking about the Chinese culture, and they could be shoveling shit, man. And they smile like them. They smile. And he just broke down how smiling was a form of prayer. And for some reason, it stood out to me, and I put that in my pocket, and I still got it in my pocket, man. I love to smile, once I was able to smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it once the people around you started seeing that change? Because when you first got in there, it probably was it hard for you to adjust to the politics of them with you not smiling and shit?
Nah, it wasn't. The adjusting wasn't hard. The politics wasn't hard. Cause at the end of the day, you a man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you a man. and that right there is respected universally, whether you're in prison or not. And I just kind of stood on that. But I was smart enough to understand the politics where I was at. I was, I was smart enough to know a lettuce from a cabbage in situations. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So yeah, those things wasn't hard. Knowing, understanding myself and my traumas was the hardest thing, and losing my brother in there was the hardest thing.
So once you started smiling, did you see it start to affect the people around you in there?
Um, I didn't start smiling in there a lot.
Oh, okay.
I would start. I would smile on a picture I sent home. My mama like, you sending pictures home looking all mean, and I thought about it, and I'll even to this day I look at some of them old photos and see that. But it was like it was a moment out here in the world where I got to share my smile with more than some. I didn't want to be smiling around no convicts for real.
Mm.
I didn't want to smile around them dudes. But coming into the world is when what I learned then, I was able to apply it coming into the society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think smile more out in the world and not while you locked up?
Yeah. Nah,
What
I mean, whatever worked for you.
whatever worked
Shit.
for
Yeah,
you.
whatever worked for you. But I wasn't just about to be in that mug jeffing and smiling and
Right.
niggas. You know what I'm
That don't mean
saying?
you jeffing. Just cause
Yeah.
you smile, I mean you're not jeffing now, is
Nah,
you? And you
nah,
smiling. Yeah.
nah. But when you go into a different environment like that, the law and the rules change a little bit. And then we want to protect ourselves. Smile is smile. Crack a joke. You catch me laughing on that. That's it. But
Yeah.
I could be walking in a mall and pass anyone. I'ma smile and speak to a stranger.
What's some of the other books you read in there that really affected the change in your life? Or that you read now still to keep
Well,
you.
I just revisited the Prosperity Bible. It's a book with a few different books inside of it, and all of it is about prosperity, and not just financial prosperity, but spiritual prosperity, mental prosperity. Um, yeah, that book changed my life. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen changed my life. The Secret changed my life. 48 Laws of Power gave me tools. The Art of Seduction, Strategies of War. Behold the Pale Horse, Letter to the Black Man. I'm a well-read individual, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of the reasons I revisit books.
Mm-hmm.
I study books. If I leave you with a book, man, I see guys and they say, G, you remember me? And sometimes like when I did that 15 years, some of them people I just don't remember them no more, man. I don't know if I buried it, but I will see somebody and he'll say, yeah, man, you gave me a book. And I said, I did. And they would remind me, and they may have a story about what that meant to them. And just one of them moments where I feel proud of myself because I was just myself. I was in prison. I hit the yard and I jogged and I worked out and I read and I talked on the phone all day and went on visits, and stayed out of people's business for real. Just focused on coming home.
And how long was you in there?
Um, 15 consecutive calendar years.
So the adjustment getting back out here, how was that?
Uh,
Cause what year you go in? Hold on, what year?
98.
A lot of the internet was like not like it
Black
is that
Planet, Black Planet just started popping in
when you went
'98,
in.
something like that.
So Facebook and all that wasn't
Nah,
even a thing.
Barber helped me transition. To be honest with you,
Uh-huh.
Barbering did because I had to get with that. I had to get with it. You know what I'm saying? I had to get with it. So barbering taught me the internet. That was the reason I learned the internet to promote, to see what's going on, to learn. So my transition into the world was kind of easy. And I don't mean to be sounding like no asshole or nothing, but I kind of was mentally out here when I was inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I did that time on the phone all day. For 15 years, I'm on the phone. If you know, if somebody watching this right now was in my life in prison, I called them all the time. We just talked. You know what I mean? And I'm indebted to them to this day in my spirit for that. And I see them and I tell them thank you. You know, I remember that. Cause sometimes now I be so busy I don't get to, you know, so it's a long cry from talking on the phone to them all day. And you know,
Yeah.
things like that. So yeah, I was already out here mentally. I was in there mentally to the extent that I had to be to survive in there. But other than that, every chance I got to think beyond them fences and outside of that situation, that's where my brain, that's where my
Yeah.
mind was at.
Have you become a therapist of such, with you being the man controlling his chair now? Like you're in the chair, not in the chair, but you're cutting hair now. You know, when we be sitting up getting our hair cut, we talking to the barber like damn near a therapist. You know what I'm saying? Have you become that for them now?
Yeah, certain situations I can say I am to a certain extent. And I've always been, I got friends that's killers,
Mm-hmm.
but they come talk to me about different shit. And I've always kind of been a leader, and I've always, you know, possessed a certain level of intellect. And like I said, I did a lot of self work in there. I remember reading and studying on being a good listener. And and when I tell you, man, I leave out my cell, my job for the day to listen, to simply listen and get in that moment. Like a lot of times you could be talking to me and I'm thinking about what I'm gonna say back to you, or I'm thinking about what I'm gonna do next, what I gotta do later. But to be in the present moment and understand how to listen goes a long way. So I applied that to barbering as well. And I gotta know when somebody wants some advice. I gotta know when somebody just want your ear.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta know when you know when to speak.
Is that a thing you're asking them like before you interject? You like, do you want me to just listen, or
Mm-mm.
you just
You gotta
know?
have a vibe, yeah.
You just know.
Yeah, you gotta know. You gotta have a sixth sense. You gotta know, and you gotta pay attention. And that's how I know.
And that probably took your barbering up to the next level. Help take it up to the next level. Because when people feel like you're actually listening to them and they're not just talking and you just going along with it because I'm your customer, I want to be beyond just getting my hair cut. I just want to go talk to Greg.
Yeah. I didn't realize that was happening, bro, until maybe a few years ago. I didn't realize that was happening. I didn't realize because, like I said, at the end of the day, I'm just being G.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't realize that was happening, man. Till now, I'm conscious of it. So it's another different type of responsibility to come with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Heavy?
heavy because at this point in the game, I don't like a fade or a taper or a hairline or a beard or anything like that. I'm mechanical when it comes to that. I can do that without thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So once I seen that I was mechanical, I got to, it's called mastering your craft. I got to that level is when, all right, where am I not a master at in this realm of barbering, which is definitely the treasure is in your client, the person sitting there. So I had made a vow to myself to be more attentive um to my people that's sitting down. You know, when God want to talk to me, most of the time he go come through someone
Oh, yeah.
or some things that's going to happen. So kind of pay attention, and a lot of things they come in and be dealing with and talk about. It helps me. They there for me. Um, so yeah, that's something that I had to start focusing on and paying. I didn't know that that was happening at first, bro.
I say that a lot about that chair though.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they come in here and talking, it be helping me
Yeah.
because you may think I'm giving out some, but nah, I'm taking all you giving me and it's growing me for real. When you talk about it being mechanical, I guess it's kind of like when you driving home and stuff and don't realize you didn't
Yeah,
stop at 50. Like, how did I,
yeah,
you know what
it's
I'm saying?
mechanical.
It's
Yep,
just regular.
yep,
You do
yep.
that on a regular. When it comes to raising your son, though, little G, what are some of the things you hope he takes from Big G and some of the things you hope he veer away from? Not veer away from, stay away from. Like,
Uh,
what are the principles you teaching him on life and all of
I
that?
teach him to be a thinker. That's number one. I teach him to use. A lot of times we don't use our brain. We got a powerful brain, and a lot of times we ain't using it. So I kind of groom him to to problem solve, and I leave it up to him to figure it out and see. And so that's like that art of repetition, and so his muscle, um when it comes to that, is getting stronger and stronger. Problem solving, decision making. I want him to be fully aware that he got a brain that can accomplish anything. So I teach him that. I teach him leadership. I teach him honesty. What else, G? I teach him leadership. Huh? I teach him leadership, honesty. He tell me the truth, he ain't gonna end up in trouble, because I admire him so much for his heart and being brave enough to tell me the truth about something he knows is wrong. So yeah, I definitely raise him on. I let him know that that rapper stuff that he see,
Mm,
that's a character. Like we was talking about them characters.
mm-hmm.
I let him know about those things, and so he won't be getting raised by that, and he getting raised by me. And I just give him stuff. Some of the stuff I give my son, I raise him on. He won't catch on to it till later,
Okay.
and that's purposely. You know what I'm saying? Because I'd rather do it like that than to be giving him some game that you're supposed to give to a 5-year-old. He's 7. I'd rather give him some knowledge that I give to a 13-year-old. Because some of them 7-year-olds act, talk, and behave like a 13-year-old. They a little more advanced, man. So I just I teach him to believe in himself. I don't let him say he can't do anything. I don't let him say he go try to do something. It's either you go do it or you ain't. I'm strict. I'm structured with him. I don't say I'm strict. I'm very structured with him, though. And I got 2 daughters that I didn't get to be that way with because of my incarceration. They grown. So I kind of pour that love that I would have gave to them. Lil G getting it all.
Have you been able to talk to them and
Yeah,
like get them to understand what you were going through in those times?
yeah, and they pretty much know what
Yeah.
it was with that, for sure.
Was it a hard connection though to get back with them, or it was?
Yeah, it's hard.
What type of work did you have to do? It's not personally, but I'm just saying, like, the levels you had to go through to try to.
I had to get they trust and respect. I had to get they trust and respect, and they were already teenagers when I came home. So it was a challenge with that, and that took time.
You understood that you would have to do that though, like, because a lot of us get to blaming and acting like the victim. Why you treating me like this? Like,
Nah.
you understood, like, this is just the pain I'm gonna have to take from this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I did.
When it comes to relaying a message to him though, getting the message to him that you're trying to get across, do you take advice from other people as far as how they've connected with their kids at the same age? And
Yeah. I study how my friends and my brothers or how they raise their kids. If you was a client of mine and you had kids and you come see me every week, I'm gonna automatically pay attention to how you raise your kids. So, you got some great men out there that I learn from and study from that are, you know, fixtures in their families, black men. So they teaching me. Like I said, my dad taught me, but I was gone away for a long time. So to see other brothers and they being great dads, Like I love that.
A lot of the time, and I'm going back to your household, a lot of the times we see what's going on in our household or how the people we look up to act towards one another. And
Mm-hmm.
we begin to think that, oh, that's how it's supposed to go. That's with a lot of us.
Mm-hmm.
When it came to the domestic violence part in your home, how did that make you move when you got older? If you get what I'm
Shit,
at.
I didn't, I buried it. I buried all that. I buried all that so I could move forward in life. So all that stuff with my parents, I buried it and I don't judge them. You know, if my father was here, well, we had to have a conversation about mama. Hey, yes, sir. We got to talk about that, me as a man, but I couldn't judge out, you know.
For sure.
Um, I buried that stuff, and it wasn't until I was an adult and I was in those domestic situations myself that I had a chance to reflect on it. And that's where I got my strength, you know, just knowing what that do to kids and, you know, knowing I got to feel how toxic it could be if you not on the right level with the person that you're dealing with so closely. You know, if you're making mistakes or if that person's making mistakes, like I had to learn how toxic that could be. You know, I had to grow.
When it comes to you being in relationships and stuff, or are
Hmm.
you maneuvering through that a lot differently than you seen yourself doing when you were younger because of all the studying you do and all of that?
And now it's just taking my time, you know. Now it's just knowing, you know, when you bring something to the table and you try to lock in with someone and be one with them,
Yeah.
you got to have you right, you know. So just that's where my focus really be at with that. When it come to, I feel like God, I'ma feel it when I know it's there. Then I'ma lock, you know, I handle that like that. But my priorities be my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Priorities be my business. You know, because who wants a man that don't have that on lock? And a lot of my priorities been healing my spirit and my traumas that I've been through.
Yeah. That chair obviously has younger kids in there too
Hmm.
that come from that are doing different things out in life that you may look at them and be like, nah, homie. Do
Hmm.
you get to do that often? Like
Yeah,
talk to them and
yeah, they rock with me.
what that look like?
Um, it just look, it just sometimes it's discouraging and it makes my heart heavy because I be seeing some of them young men don't have a father. And I watch their mother struggle with different issues, and it just take me back to my childhood. But I've been grateful to have the trust of my clients' moms. Certain, if I got clients, young men that's their father not in their life, my clients have enough respect for me where sometimes they be wanting me, hey, can you talk to him when you couldn't? You need to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an honor and a pleasure because I understand that young man. I was him. You know what I'm saying? And I just want them to know, bro, it can be all bad on a Tuesday and so beautiful by Friday you wouldn't believe it. Or it could be beautiful on Friday and next Tuesday your life will be in shambles. So don't give up, keep pushing, entertain positive thoughts, and you know what I'm saying? Put your best foot forward and just let the other one follow.
Yeah.
That's it.
Being in the city that we in, with you having that space where people come in and out, some of those faces you probably never seen again due
Hmm.
to the streets or due to whatever they went through.
Wow.
And then some of those faces you get to see turn into flowers.
Hmm.
How often have you between the both?
Um, I've seen both. Yeah, I've seen both. I've seen man, you know, I've seen someone leave out my chair and go to a party and die, get his head blew off. I've seen, I had to go, their family called me like, "G, can you cut his hair?" And I know that that brother loved my haircuts like he loved them. It's the last time everybody go get to see him at his funeral. His family want me to cut his hair. They want me to cut a corpse. Someone I cared for, someone who supported me. And I had to find that strength to go in there and handle that business for that family. And you can't be my client and you leave before me and I don't take care of that business. So I stand on business with that.
That was the conversation you had with yourself. Like when they first asked you, it kind of had to be heavy to you. And then you had that conversation like, man, I cut him when he was here. I'm going.
Now, you know, my level in my career, it goes without saying. I go in there so brave, so prayed up, wrapped up in prayer. It's like, it's a different type of goodbye I get to give as a barber. Like, I get to spend some different moment. Walk into Lawrence A. Jones, walk into Serenity, funeral home directors, they know G-Class because I come down there and I stand on business, you know. I don't think every barber would do that,
Yeah.
but it's no fear. And it wasn't always like that though. In the beginning, I had to go do that. I always was down to do it because I understood what it meant to the family. But I grew with that. So I remember I cut someone who had passed away and I couldn't touch the clipper on the face because I was shaking. I couldn't get it was like it was a magnetic field that kept me from actually touch. I thought the clipper would break the skin and all that, but I was just nervous, man. And that went away with time, you know. But I'm dedicated to my profession like that, and I'm dedicated to anybody who continuously come and keep me putting food on my son's table and paying our bills and things like that.
What's the
So the other question about some
yes.
good things that happen. I got a client right now pull up and he has a wife. And one day he'll come and get a haircut and be like, "Gee, we going to the Super Bowl. Me and the wife, man, going to the Super Bowl." He'll come back from the Super Bowl. Say, "Look, G, look at these where we was sitting at. It'd be a front row seat at the Super Bowl." Just seen him pull up in a, 2024 R8 Audi. Like, "Oh, G, my wife bought it for me." And he's a hard worker. He's a great dad, family man. Those are the flowers. So to be connected with that, it's like, I get a different view. I get a different view. I hear my clients speak of their families and wives. Those are the flowers. When I hear about good living and good relationships, and I get to see, hey, this is possible, that's possible. You know what I mean? Those are the flowers. I got a young client. He's probably 19, graduated a few years ago, but he want to be a president, and he don't know how much. He might know, but he inspired me a lot, this youngster. Very smart, well-mannered, great dad. And the relationship with him came from a mutual respect with his father 30 years ago. Now me and the sons, we tied in, and I support and I push and I, get behind them. Yes, sir.
You say you don't know, like in what way do he inspire you so he can know?
He inspired me because anybody who on top of their thing inspire me.
Yeah.
I don't care if you was 5 years old with a talent, like 80 years old and you cutting your grass. That's inspiration, man. I go work out and I see a 80-some-year-old man and woman couple working out. Like, that's inspiring. So my young client, he just inspires me just from being who he is, man. It just being mannerable, being educated, being smart, keeping his pants up, staying well groomed, speaking clearly when he speak up. When he speak to me, he look up at me and he speak to me directly.
Yeah.
And those are all honorable things.
Yeah.
It's special to me.
So when I talked about the other side of that chair, and I don't know if you was answering it from that perspective, but I was saying like the kids that you talk to and then they actually their trajectory is up. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? They blossom from that. May they had been in a bad situation or talking from a bad standpoint of life. After you speak with them, you start to see them take that leap the other way versus going back
That's a
to what they
great
was
feeling
on.
when I see that. That's
Yeah.
a great feeling, and it's just a level of responsibility that comes with it. Like, all right, he listening to me, so I got a responsibility to stay on top of my stuff too, cause they looking at me, you know.
Like podcasts and people may think it's just setting up the mic and getting on camera and it's just that easy. Same thing they may think with barbering, you just cutting the hair or whatever.
Mhm.
But from what you saying right now, it's much heavier than that.
Man, I ain't begin, man. Yeah, it's heavy. Shop owner, heavy.
Yeah.
You know
What's something you would want people to understand about that though?
about what
The
part?
whole all of the shop
The
owner from
shop owner
just being
part.
in the barber.
They separate parts now. So like you want me to give the barber part or it's a different level with the shop
Both of them.
ownership. And what was the question? What's the most?
What do you want people to understand about being into that? Because
Oh,
from everybody looking out, it's like this stuff is easy. You just, you know what I mean?
would this be somebody I want to understand that's trying to enter into their world?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, like if you a barber and you want to get into that profession and you want to provide for your family and accomplish your goals and dreams through barbering, I definitely suggest that uh, you don't accept. I definitely suggest that you understand that any type of failure is only a temporary defeat. It's not even a failure. It's just call that shit temporary. That's temporary because you get your lesson out of that, right? When it comes to barbering, you wanna you wanna be there. You wanna be there. You wanna promote. You wanna you gotta understand that it's gonna be slow in the beginning. You gotta believe in yourself and you gotta continue to let your community know who you are and what you about. And you gotta conduct yourself that way. And the rest will happen.
Hmm.
And I watched it happen. As a shop owner, if you trying to own a shop in a barber and beauty game, I would suggest that you never get too attached to the people that work there. That's like if you work at
Mm.
Ford. If you work at a plant somewhere and y'all making car seats, you have people at your job that you think are cool and they cool, but after work is to your world and your family. And in a barbershop, I feel like it's such a laid back work environment that you can mix friendships up with business easy. And it's no diss to nothing or nobody, but it's just a law. You understand that hey, we got a business friendship as well, and you may be friends with them on another level, but the foundation that is built on is business, and you gotta stand on
Yeah.
business. Cause it'll be times when stuff happen, it'll break your heart. Cause you done grew to love you done grew to love these people that you work with. So something can occur that'll tear your heart apart, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And really it's just business.
Hmm.
So that's one of the most important things. That's one of the most important things. Don't get that mixed up like that.
I'm not sure if there's any, but if there's, what's some of the biggest misconceptions about Greg you would want to cut right here, and then some of the things you know you could fix yourself
A misconception
within
about
yourself.
me that I wanna kill right here, right now,
Yeah.
that I think is a misconception. Um, I ain't got it. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't feel like a misconception about me. I don't know. Some people done said I was arrogant maybe, but I'm not. I'm just confident and I don't go for no bullshit. Uh, I'm the coolest guy ever. Sometimes you got to get to know someone to see those things though. And another misconception.
What is it about you would think they would think is arrogant though? They would call
I
why they
don't
would
know.
call
I
you
don't
arrogant.
know. I really don't know because I've been the same way all my life. Anybody that know you will tell you. Anybody that know me will tell you. But I hear it. I hear it from time to time, and I don't know. I don't know what the hell that's
Okay.
about. I'm not ghost. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. But I'm like, have you ever had a high school coach or when you ever played football and had a coach that just was on your ass and didn't play, but he loved you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like that, man. I'm like that. But I don't know about them misconceptions for real. Cause I kind of tuned a lot out, so I
Yeah.
really don't get to spend time on thinking about a misconception someone may have of me. Um, what was that other one you said? Two of them.
Things you know you need to fix within yourself though
Within
to be better.
myself, man,
Yeah.
I wanna feel more. You
When you
know,
say feel more.
empathy. I wanna be more empathetic. Cause I'm cold. I can be callous, and it came from having to bury my daddy and my brothers and my friends and having to go through a lot of stuff. I became callous to get through it. You know what I'm saying? And so now I'm just trying to unthaw that. It was frozen. And to feel is to be human. Every time I was able to feel like you could tell me something that you've been going through, and if I feel it in my spirit, what you going through, that's a beautiful thing to me, man, if that makes sense. Cause for so
Yeah.
long, and I'm numb to all that. I'm numb to everything because I became so callous from what I've been through. And I noticed it like, damn, man, why you didn't cry because of that? Why? And I was like, damn, I want to feel. And I looked that shit up and it's called empathy. You know what I'm saying? I looked it up and when a person, certain people are empaths.
Empathetic. Oh, empaths, yeah.
Yeah,
They feel
those are
everything
people
everybody
that can
else.
feel.
Yeah.
Those are people that can feel. So yeah, I just want to be able to feel a little more. Definitely grow. Definitely just have emotional intellect. Emotional intellect is a big one. Yeah.
Which you not feeling empathetic, that makes you feel like you're not human.
Yeah, it make me feel like I'm fucked up sometimes when I don't feel what somebody could be going through and I don't feel it. I can hear it. But if I don't feel it, man, I be feeling like I'm fucked up. Damn, gee, that was, but I'm growing with that. And I'm conscious of that.
I wonder because it make it seem like that would be hard to like talk to these people that's going through these things and actually are those the times when you just listening? Most of the time when they talking
I'm
about
trying to feel. That I'm listening. I'm trying to, they helping me.
right.
You know what I mean? Yep. Yep.
Like
Yeah. I ain't like that as much as I was in the past though, cause like I said, once I became conscious of it, God been allowing me to feel. He been allowing me to feel, man. So that's definitely a good thing.
so when somebody I'm guessing you felt lately, like not too long ago. So when you actually got that feeling, what did it feel like? Because you said you starting to feel
Yeah, it just made me relate to him more. It enhanced the level of concern, which affected any opinion or advice that I may or may not have had. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah, it enhanced that.
Back to the because I just thought about something. Back to the to when those younger kids get up out of your chair and you hear about these certain situations, real
Hmm.
life situations that happen. Not that you don't already hug on and love on your son now or your children now, but do
Hmm.
that make you grip them even tighter after hearing that type of stuff?
I already keep the tightest grip that I can on him,
Yeah.
that I can possibly, mutually keep on my kids. You
Mm-hmm.
feel me?
Yeah. In closing, could you leave us marked out with some word?
In closing,
Or before you close out, if there was anything else you wanted to say before you leave us marked
um,
out.
man, I always got a lot to say. We can run it again on something totally different for real. But just in closing today, no, I'm trying to think. It's so much, man. I just want to say, if you go through any type of storm, if you go through any type of bad weather, any type of cloudiness, just know and understand that the sun will come back out. After, you know, after the night comes morning, the darkest hour is right before the sun come up. And I'm saying that from a place where I've been in the dark. I've been in the dark. And right now the sun out, it's shining, it's light. Learn whatever you need to learn from them moments, them dark moments. It's understanding it's a lesson. When it get like that, man, you better put your antennas up because it's a lesson. When you get that lesson, you gonna be better. And I'm a living testimony of that. If that makes sense.
Yes, sir. Mind praying us out?
Oh yeah. Everybody bow their heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we all humbly come before you right now. Thanking you for this moment. Thank you for this moment of transparency. Thank you for this moment of courage. Thank you for this moment of intuition. Give all honor and praise unto you, praying that you allow something that was said today be impactful, inspirational on someone's life. That's our prayer. Amen.
Amen. We appreciate you coming on this
For sure.
platform. Courageous. The
Mm-hmm.
goal is to leave a lasting imprint on their minds and their hearts. We pray you've been indelibly marked.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, my brother.